I hope to God that this doesn't turn me off like you usually do, Jitsi. Usually when I do my solo, I used to do my solo shit here, but I've been just doing it on voice recorder and then just put a picture on there and then like usually just throw it up on the internet. But when I did it with Jesse, he just usually throws it up. So we're gonna be talking about uh how can I say this? I want to talk about these two videos I seen, and it has to deal with female content looking at male content, or sort of. And their two female contents I actually like. One is O Stepco, and the other one is Nabieta Jehovah. And I watched Nabieta Jehovah. She doesn't really put that much out anymore because she has some shit with YouTube, and YouTube, sometimes YouTube be on their bullshit. But as she talked about this video of how the high value man will, the high value man era is almost over, which was by O Stepco. So I sat and watched that video about old Stepco. My homeboy, Clarence, who I put on the channel, asked me, um, he said Sergeant Willie Pete, who I also listen to, and that's a male YouTube channel. He's an OG. He said the gender war is all he thinks men want it. Yeah, so what I think, and I said I have to watch this video, which was Stepco's video. The era of high value men is ending, and I am joyful as fuck. I said I answered that after I listened to this video. Now, after I listened to this video, it's obvious to me, and I love these channels, Nappy Jehovah and Old Stepco. But I will say, I don't think y'all fully understand their channel. I think y'all looking at it from a misogyny view, and it's just that it's not that he's saying that you're worthless, and this is what I get where a lot of women I don't think he ever calls you worthless. And I'm not trying to put words into people's mouth, but this is what he's saying. You want a man that makes 100K, and you got three different kids by three different men. So if you're bringing broken homes, and even if you are a good mother, you like it's like having kids out of wedlock. A lot of men, and this is what people don't understand. Yes, a lot of men take on the value of other kids, kids. My father did that. But he was also married for 20 years when he did that, and like, and even to the point where like, my brother knew who his actual father is, but he still refers to my dad as dad. He still looks to him as a device. He's my brother. That's his father. And that's his son. No matter how you speak of it. All right. My father took on that responsibility. Right, and to me, like, there's not a better man that done that. I don't mind dating kids, me, but at the same time, I'm not what you would call a high value man either. Now, this is what I mean by a lot of you women don't understand, especially Kevin Samuels content. And I say this, and a lot of men don't get it either. But it's not Kevin Samuels' fault because he has said this. But a lot of people just like going after, the juicy stuff. To him, like berating women, quote unquote, berating women, telling women that they're not worth what they think they're worth. Because a lot of you women, like I said, even though yes, you're pretty, but you bring in a lot of baggage. And yes, and he kind of rates women to cars. Yes, the more miles you have, the less valuable you are in the market. That is true. We're not saying you should get the lowest of the low or even should settle. It's just that a lot of men is not going to be looking for you when they can get someone with no kids and no baggage. And it's not as like that is submissive. And I think a lot and think like I said this before, a lot of women, they have this idea of being submissive, and they say it all the time. You think of this 1950s, or the woman wants to be the housework. And what you don't and this is how I know a lot of them don't really watch their channel. That's why a lot of women get, he tells you, And he asked this question too. It's just like because these women out there expose themselves when they go on it. Okay, you have a job now. If you get a kid, do you expect to work after you get after you have a job? After you married and have a job? A lot of them say no. They want to be a stay-at-home wife. Even though you done spent 4 years in college and got masters, or you got your bachelor's, your master's, and all the other stuff, and you're made to be a working woman. A majority of them, and I done watched a lot of his stuff. I don't want to consider myself a Kevin Samuels fan or a stan, but I do enjoy his content a lot. But you got to look at a lot of them. They say, I don't want to work after this. That's what a lot of them say. I don't want to work. I don't want to be. I don't even want to do half of the bills. I want to be like 30%. And he's telling you like these numbers, like, okay, if you take away 30%, how are you supposed to live comfortably is places like LA or New York, especially LA, where fucking rent is like $2,000 for a fucking shitty ass apartment. Where a brown or New York, where a brownstone could go for fucking millions of dollars or some shit like that. Because these women not only do they want to live luxurious, they want to live, this comfortable, high value life without putting much of the work in. And he's like, okay, you a man that's going to do that, he's got to at least make at least 200K. 100K, cool. But for what a lot of y'all want, a man's going to have at least make 200K, which is like 10% of the men. I think 10% of the men. The people that make 200 is like 5%. The people that make like 400 is like it's a 1%, maybe even 0.5%, especially if they black. See, a lot of you women do not understand that, and this is why this is not to bash women. I'm telling you right now, I'm not saying this to bash women, but you do not understand. I think y'all just ignore numbers unless it fits your argument. Now, if you can say that to men, yeah, but mostly when men is like, you give us numbers, we go, okay, all right. If that's the numbers, then that's cool. Like we can understand that an average man makes $50,000 a year. We say this all the time. The men you are looking for that make 100K, that's 10%. And if more men make 10%, that number, I said that's not the If average man makes 100K, that means a lot of you women that are hypergamous by nature, and y'all don't understand your hypergamous nature, y'all gonna want a man that's 200K. Y'all gonna be looking at 100K ain't enough. And it's not like these men are doing this to bash women. They bring women on and you expose yourself. That is the other problem with a lot of these female content creators that bash all these male content creators. Even Fresh and Fit. Like I've stopped watching their content until recently because they brought Tommy Sotomayor and all that other stuff. And I is like as a fan of Tommy's, and I know this probably won't help me either. I did watch that. And he's trying, and like even him, he logically explained a lot of this stuff, but you can tell a lot of these women don't get it. And it's funny. The funny thing about Fresh and Fit, I don't know if it helped them or hurt them, but it might have helped them. They make fun of Asian Doll. More black women are on that show. I have seen, or at least from their thumbnails, there's at least 3 or 4 black women on that show after Asian Doll. So black women, take that up with your black women. That's all I'm gonna say. Uh, Black women, take that up with black women. I don't see episodes where there's like 3 or 4 black women on that fucking show. What do you have to say? What do y'all have to say about that? It's not the men's fault. Do you want to say it's the men's fault? If they, because a lot of them know who the fuck they are, and they probably seen it from the Asian Doll clip, and yet they're still getting on the show. Now, I've always said this about Fresh and Fit. Yes, they teach you how to meet girls, but they're not really relationship gurus. I don't really consider them relationship gurus because one used to be married and he left his wife just to live a better life. The other one, that was Fresh. Myron, he doesn't want to get married unless it's to like someone damn near is going to be a housewife, going to be fully submissive and all that stuff. And I asked you, women, do you really want to be with men like that? A lot of y'all don't. Now, or something. Now, with that being said, do I think some of the men that be taking some of these advice from Kevin Samuels? Depends on who you're talking about. I listen because statistically speaking, a lot of this stuff that they dispute is facts. These are numbers. These are facts and all that other stuff. But especially for Kevin Samuels men, Kevin Samuels channel, the channel is for high value men. So people that make 100K and over. I've done said this before. If you make under 100K, you shouldn't fully take Kevin Samuels' advice. But the women on there wants a man over 100K. Kevin Samuels has said plenty of times, what's wrong with a construction worker? What's wrong with a plumber? What's wrong with a pipe fitter? What's wrong with, the average man making, 50K? Because 50K is not bad. It's average. But, and then a lot of people do also, we done said this before. He used to berate men. So when he berates men, it's not a problem. As soon as that's why he said the average is. I think he said this. I don't want to put words in his mouth, but basically, the average is best. It's a gift and a curse. Because then a lot of these women they come on and then they try to argue with him, and it's just like, oh, y'all some boss babes, y'all some boss bitches, and all that stuff. And it's just like, who say you want to be known? I say, obviously, they're on that shelter for a reason. Uh, so a lot of so when I think of a woman having a baby, do I think their worth is? I said in hindsight, yes. Like I said, I would date a woman with kids. In hindsight, and the reason why he said like your value is not worth a lot because a lot of women that have kids do not want kids, especially how like pregnancy damn near kills a lot of, especially if you're a black woman. It's like sometimes it might be higher because a lot of these women, because a lot of nurses think that, oh, y'all can take the pain, y'all just complaining and all that other shit. It's a give and take. As someone that had COVID and had to go through and deal with some of these nurses, I understand black women and their fucking argument with nurses and shit. It's just like, bitch, I feel like I'm dying. It's like, and then like a lot of these nurses that's just been around and so forth, they're so numb to it. That's why I don't like. That's why I didn't curse out the nurses because I know you're working hard and all that other stuff. But at the same time, it's just like I'm like when I had COVID, I never experienced these symptoms before. My nose bled for the first time in my life. I freaked the fuck out. I was like, I've never had a nosebleed before. So when I'm asking, hey, my nose is bleeding, what the? And a lot of these nurses go, I don't know. Just it's just COVID. It's like I don't I don't fucking understand what you're saying. I don't understand. It's like you don't have the knowledge. As many people that come in here, you don't have the knowledge, and that's what's going through my mind. Until and sadly, until it was a male nurse that told me what the fuck was wrong with me, and like was giving me details of what the fuck is going on, and the doctor, who was a female, but the male nurse and the female doctor, the only people that told. After that, I calmed the fuck down. But all the other nurses, I'm sorry, it's like I'm sorry, like the first nurse was cool. And I thought I was getting hurt most of the time, but nah, but they switched around. A lot of other nurses, except for the male nurse and the female doctor, good, good. It's just. But back to before I start rambling. Um, when I was watching old Stepco's End of an Era and all that other stuff. I could honestly like it's because she was like in the high value men era. Okay, a lot of these men, like I said, because like one of the dudes on my podcast, and yes, I do have a podcast. I'm sorry, but I don't. I at least I will say this: I don't take my time to bash black women, but I do talk about the delusions that a lot of them have. A lot of you and a lot of these women do have delusions. You expect to bring all these kids and all these problems and all these baggage and all that other stuff. And it's just like we're supposed to take care of the bad man. the baggage and the bad men that you pick, and now you want to come with us when a lot of men get their shit, which a lot of you women do. Y'all don't want a. I can understand y'all don't want a project nigga, but I feel like y'all already want a nigga who's established. When a lot of y'all are not even established. Yes, you have it all. From with some of your jobs, y'all make good jobs, y'all make good money, but a lot of y'all really don't have it all, and a lot of y'all are not good people. I think there's a lot of women you got to understand that even though yes you got the jobs, you work hard and all that. Some of y'all are not good people. Some of y'all are not good conversation starters. Y'all don't keep a conversation longer than 10 seconds to most men, and we don't care. We don't care if you make it like we don't care about your. When men say we don't care about your degrees, we really do not care about the degrees. It's a bonus. I'm glad you got it, but most of the time, if y'all want a man that's going to make at least 100K or is going to provide majority of the housework that a lot of y'all done said, what is your degree going to do for us? And this is what we talk about. A lot of people's like, you want to build a home, but y'all don't want to lift a fucking finger. And I'm not saying this to shoot out the ass, but a lot of women do. Yes, a lot of you women, y'all said this on the show, not only on Kevin Samuels, on Fresh and Fit, on probably some of these other where it's just like a man got to do all this. It's like, okay, what is a woman going to do? Are you going to do the traditional things? Are you going to cook? Are you going to clean? Or are you going, are you even going to have my child? A lot of you women don't want to do that. A lot of you women, like the one on that Black Talk London, London, or Black Chat London. She said, "I am a woman of leisure. I don't want to do shit but have babies." And that's why the dude was like, "You're fucking useless." And she's like, she went to school for a degree that she didn't even pay for. Like her last boyfriend paid for that. So a lot of men are just gonna look at you like you're useless. Yeah, he may not make the money that she's looking for, but he's honest. He's honest. And then a lot of men is just looking like that. It's like, yes, that girl is useless to me. Even if I do make 100K, even if I do fit her requirements, do she fit mine? Because a lot of women is just like, that's why the whole table thing. It's just that both the table is there. Y'all both sitting here. I bring this. What do you bring? I think a lot of people is just like when men say. I think a lot of women when they look at what do you bring to the table, and I've said this before. You don't understand that I am not the table either. You are not the table. I am not the table. We build from scratch. What do you bring that's going to help us? The table is what you and I can bring to make this whole like if build an empire or power couple that a lot of you women will say. What do you bring that's going to help us? Us. Because the thing is about what women don't understand, even like your dad that give you unconditional love and all that other stuff, and even my father, they work hard to build a life, where it's just like even my father, his whole thing was, I don't want my daughters to depend on a man, you know. And yes, even my sisters, like they're hard on some of these men, and like even me, it's just like I don't I don't want to depend have even me like I don't want to depend on a woman for everything. Like my girlfriend that I've talked about many of times, I like yeah, she made more money than me, but I never depended on her for stuff. I still pump the gas. I still giving her money sometimes. Like I did what I needed to do. She got mad at me for sometimes because she felt like that um I did nothing for her. And to me it was just like I need to, and this was like me like 10 years ago. I used to tell her all the time, I need to figure some of this shit out myself. It's like I need to understand that I need to understand. So a lot of you women, you got to understand that, especially from black people, we just like we do need therapy. We come from broken. We A lot of people come from broken homes. A lot of people like they have this idea, and me like I can understand like my mother worked. My mother and my father worked. My mother cooked, my father cooked. My mother cleaned, my father cleaned, I cleaned. There was six of us. So we all fucking had clean. All right. So we all did things to keep the house straight. When my mom and dad got divorced and my mom moved away and all that other stuff, like I took some of the slack. Like I was working at a pizza joint while going to, and then like when on my off days or before I go to work, I used to like this. How I learned how to cook. The first thing I learned how to cook was like baked chicken for the house and all that stuff. Baked chicken and mac and cheese. So I used to walk the Giant or safe. I think it was a Safeway. Come back with like a pack of chicken thighs. Learn how to cook this shit. Learn how to cook and season, and then like, all right, I'm good. Go to work. I like before I went to the Navy. It's like I was doing that. Was learning how to like, okay, I gotta put my work in and all that stuff. I seen my father work double, triple overtime, or just busting his ass late. Come home to like 12 o'clock at night, all that other stuff. Make sure he gets a plate. Make sure dad gets a plate. Say something for pops, all that other stuff. All that stuff before I joined the Navy, and then it was just like, all right, when I got the chance to join the Navy, I did, and then like I started working for myself, just busting my. It's like I'm just busting my ass and all that. A lot of people don't understand that. I think some of you like, and then I listen to a lot of you female YouTubers. Is it yes? A lot of these black. I'm not gonna lie. A lot of these black people they miss the point too. They do miss the point, but a lot of you women, I feel like you also missed the point. I think everybody missed the point about Kevin Samuels' channel and the content that he brings. All right, as someone that's making 50K should not be talking about, should not be calling himself high value man. Or I see myself as a high value man. It's just like no, you make 50K, you're average, which is fine. And even then, it's just like, hey, you got 3 kids, because a lot of these women, you gotta understand, even on what's her name? Kendra G. And I watched some of her stuff. The women on there, them motherfuckers just like, hey, I got 3 kids and I want a man, I want a man that's 6 foot tall and they're 5'2" and they're overweight. And it's just like like I understand preference. And a lot of people throw preference around and all that stuff, but I do understand preference, but it's just like, and she gonna tell you, hey, you wanna like and like she'll tell a motherfucker, if you was a man, I would tell them not to date you. I would tell them to stay away from you. I've seen her do that. So it's just holding like you gotta it's holding people accountable for their actions and all that other stuff. I I see you women like, and let's go to the last thing because I don't think this about Hafiz and like a lot of these channels, a lot of men been hurt. Um, I've been hurt. I don't mind admitting I've been hurt. I don't really take it out on women though. I take accountability for all my actions. It's just like, hey, it's like this happened. This happened because some things are some things are just out of my reach, and then that's not your fault. But there are some things that I done did. Maybe I wasn't the best boyfriend, or maybe if I didn't act like a jackass at this one point, it'd have fared out better. And and maybe if I didn't say this, she'd probably like me more. It's a lot of stuff. It's a lot of growing pains. A lot of growing. There's reason why they call it growing pains because some shit is going to hurt. So even as logical as it is, because I feel like a lot of things with, and especially on Fresh and Fit, and I will admit this, a lot of that stuff don't really happen to them. It's more or less happening to men around them. And they're like, and the whole saying, a smart man learns from mistakes, a wise man learns from others. So it's just like, okay, why are these women acting like this? So they bring these women on and they tell them about their stories. And a lot of these women is like, yeah, we cruddy. A lot of those women on there is just like, yeah, we're cruddy. We'll take your man. We'll take your money. And if you feel like you a sucker, I'm going to eat off you a couple times. I think a lot of you women, y'all, I feel like y'all miss the point, especially like Steph Cole and uh um Nappy Head and Jojoba, because they don't watch their content. They probably watch a clip or two, but you don't watch the content. If you really watch the sit in with the academics with Brittany Renner and all that other stuff, it was pretty much back and forth. Did she hit him with that question? Yeah. But if you watch the rest of the joint, it's really back and forth. There was times when she was stumped. But a lot of you women don't know that. Y'all probably didn't watch that. There was times when she was like, he stumped him that. He was like, what you, and he was like, Fresh, who's like motherfucking mouth, motherfucker asked the question of the whole podcast, would you date a broke nigga? And she was fucking stumped. It was like, your standards are not for average men. Not even for average men. Because a lot of you women, especially if y'all don't understand fucking numbers, y'all look at 50K as broke. I remember, like, me and Clarence, we did this whole thing about, where the Poor Man's Podcast was debating with the homegirl and all that other stuff. And she was like, and he was like, 50K is not that bad. He was like, I don't want a 50K out. I want 100K. And a lot of these men, they will tell you, hey, for that, you need to have a two home. You need to have an income of two. If I make 50K, you make 50K, we combine as 100K. We could probably get this house and all that other stuff. That's how it works. So it's just like you modern women, y'all want traditional men, but y'all don't want to put in the work. It's just like y'all want to be modern women turned. It's like rapper turned singers, like modern women turned traditional women. And it's not. And for the last part, because I know I've said this, and I'm gonna repeat this. It's like they're not saying you're worthless. It's just saying it's like what you're asking for, you may not get. And I already made a video that I don't like the word settling. And sometimes, and if Nicki Minaj and not Remy Ma, if Nicki Minaj and motherfucking Rihanna don't prove this, and they both dated probably millionaires and billionaires, especially Rihanna, she dated a billionaire. She's with ASAP Rocky now. I know he's like a millionaire and all that stuff, but a lot of people feel like she settled for ASAP. ASAP, and I'm saying you should be looking for people that fits your needs. More or less, and I'm not gonna lie, some of y'all women is whoever fits your need is a woman. I'm not even gonna lie to y'all. Some of y'all women is like y'all probably like love men, but sometimes y'all be asking for women, and y'all don't like effeminate men. So it's just like y'all should probably ask for a woman and all that other stuff. Especially some of you alpha females. It's just like and here's the thing. I don't like the term alpha male or alpha female. I don't consider myself a beta. I'm not a beta. But but I don't really like, this is what you need to be an alpha male. I don't it's like I'm pretty sure like I can take charge. Don't get me wrong. I don't have a problem taking charge. I can take charge. As a man, I feel like you have to take charge. But I feel like sometimes I just feel like you don't have to lead with money all the time. Sometimes you got to lead with wisdom. You got to lead, like I said, a man, like, his job shouldn't only be to provide money, but he also should provide wisdom, to provide security, to provide like knowledge to pass on down to generations and generations. And yes, we need to be working on generational wealth. But a lot of the stuff that I feel like a lot of people get is very misconstrued, and I feel like a lot of people don't know what the fuck they want. And this is probably my last part. A lot of y'all do not know what the fuck y'all want. It's obvious. A lot of people don't know what the fuck you want, especially you women. And like I said, I'm not bashing women, but man, we kind of know what we want. And like the one thing about Kevin Samuels, I will say this: he's been saying the same thing: fit, friendly, submissive, and all that. Fit, friendly, feminine, submissive, and all that other stuff. That's what he wants. It's like a lot of men do want that. Now, don't get me wrong. It's like with black men, we're lenient on weight because it's just like you could be a little thick, and it's just like, all right, we can see that. Like I said, Myron, he's very military. He's very straightforward. So a lot of his shit's gonna come off his ass shoulders to a lot of you women. So a lot of you women is not going to like that, which you're not really supposed to. Uh, the whole and the whole thing about men and women are the prize is just like I said, um, you're supposed to see value in each other, and I'm gonna leave it at this. The whole men and women are the prize thing, or who is the prize? You're supposed to see value in each other. If I do something to make your, to a point where it's just like I can't live without this woman, or I can't see myself without this woman, or I can't see myself with no one else but this man. That's the type of value that you need to bring. It's just like I do something for you. It's just like damn, like she done taught me shit. She do this for me, or she do that for me, or she's my rock, or he's my rock. Anytime I need him, he's there for me, and all that other stuff. That's what you need to be bringing to the table. There's nothing wrong with the table. The table, because you both sit down at the table. And that's the thing. You both sit down at the table and then you delegate, okay, is this cool that we could build on this? Can we build on this table? God, like men and women got to understand. It's just like, it's not the whole I'm the prize or men are the prize or women are the prize. It's just hold it. What do you bring? And I say this all the time. This is why relationships are fucked up. We don't have a us situation. It's like, what can you do for me? What can you do for me? What? No, it's like, what can I do for us to make us work? And I feel like and I've said this, that's the attitude a lot of people need to be looking for. It's not what can you do for me, what can I do for you, is what I can do for us. What we can do for us. Can we build this together? Not like a partnership, but it's just like, okay, like Chris Rock said, sometimes you play the drums and sometimes you play the tambourine. And if you're on a tambourine, rock the fuck out of that tambourine. You shake the shit out of it. If you sing a lead, you sing the fuck out of lead. Because that's what the roles is. Now the thing is, a lot of people is just like, I don't want that role. I want their role. You can't be two lead singers. They say, they can't be two characters and all that other stuff. That's not what I need you for. And I think that's another problem with, like I said, black men and black women's relationship is just a lot of people, especially black women, especially if you're not good with working with others, you will never know how to work with others. Men, I will say this. That's the one thing I always say. We work with people we don't fucking like. And I say this all the time. We work with people we don't fucking like. Just because we need to get the job done. The one thing about the Navy I've learned is I'm not going to like everybody, but the job's going to get done. All right. It's just like, we ain't got to talk. We ain't got to kumbaya. We ain't got to talk about your wives and kids and all that shit. We need to get this job done. You can do this. I can do this. Let's do this. We knock it out. That's men. And all that other stuff. It's just like, so I hope that I come through as logical as good. Because I do have men and women on my podcast. At first, and I told people at first, it's just like, I've always had an open invitation to women. And I would like different opinions. Maybe someone like, okay, you come with this, I'll say I can disagree with and all that other stuff. I don't want an echo chamber. I don't think, and I feel like the people on my panel, they don't give me an echo chamber. Like Father, me and him, we going back and forth for stuff. Me and some of the females on there going back and forth for stuff. I've seen Father and D Wolf going back and forth for stuff. A lot of shit, especially how they view different things. That's the beauty of it. That's what we need to look at. So I try to keep it, like I said, I keep an open mind. I'm not saying here it's like, oh, women are useless and all that stuff. Even though I've said white women have been useless throughout history and all that stuff. I still stand on that fucking hill. By the way, I still stand on that fucking hill. But I've always been like, one thing I would say this. Do I think the do I think men and women want a gender war? I don't think we even know what war we're fighting anymore. So I just think it's going to die down. I think we're getting to a point where, and here's my opinion, I think we're getting to a point where, okay, we're waking up. This war is stupid. And this is what I've been saying. This whole gender war, fucking stupid. I said this before. If we get into a gender war with each other, it's over because we're going to keep arguing this shit, and it's going to be same regard. Now I'm getting to the point where I feel like, okay, these are the problems. How are we fixing them? I feel like this is what, as to make the step further and to end this gender war, where both of us come out like a, I don't want to say like a draw. I'll just say draw. Like in a stalemate or a draw, is that, hey, you have problems, we have problems. Let's see if we can fix these together and work on things. But you have to be willing to put your hand out. Like I told this one girl, I don't want to have my hand held. Just point me in the right direction. If I'm doing things wrong, don't tell me to Google it. Or if I got some information wrong, or I don't have the idea, go Google it. Don't just tell me to Google it. Hey, look up this, because men will quote 48 Laws of Power. We'll quote, when we quote our stats, we quote where we get them from and all that other stuff. A lot of you women don't do that. That's why y'all argue off of emotion. Not saying, like, even if you're right, you're arguing. Because I remember, like, one time with Jasmine, I was like, even though you're right, yes, it still come off as bitter. Yes, it's like, but I'm right. Yes, you're right, but it still come off as bitter. It's just like a lot of people are not going to take that just off of bitterness of your argument and all that stuff. That's why when men we come with logical, but sometimes yes, the truth hurts. It's supposed to hurt, and that's how I feel like I need to, things need to go. Uh, I done talked long enough. Let me know what y'all think. Till then, my name is Mosquito Fly, and I'm out. Peace. I need to figure out what to name this title.